Welcome back to the channel. Today is a beautiful day, but the drama happening over in Port Charles is darker and more intense than we've seen in years. So, grab your favorite snack, get comfortable, and let's dive right into this absolute madness. I am literally shaking right now. I am typing this up at 2:00 in the morning because I just finished watching the latest episode and I cannot sleep. I need to get this out of my system, and I know you guys are the only ones who will actually understand what I am feeling. Right now, my jaw is still on the floor. I have been watching this show religiously since 2015, and I have seen some truly wild storylines. We've had mob wars, evil twins, weather machines, and brain mapping. But this specific episode, this is absolute top-tier premium soap opera television, and I'm both terrified and obsessed with what they just did. Can we talk about Jocelyn Jacks for a second? I know some people are loving this, but personally, I am just in a state of pure shock. I know she is a polarizing character in the fandom. Some of you love her. Some of you think she complains too much. And some of you are just tired of the whole Corinthos Jacks family drama, but you have to admit what happened tonight changes everything. Let's set the scene because the cinematography was actually brilliant. We are back in that terrifying, damp, dark sub-basement of Windermere. Spoon Island has always been the creepy horror movie setting of Port Charles, and they really leaned into it tonight. Jocelyn has been locked down there helpless, being taunted by Pascal and Cassius. And let me just go on a quick tangent here. I absolutely hate Cassius. The absolute audacity of this man walking around wearing Nathan West's face, terrorizing people, it makes my skin crawl. Maxie would be sick if she saw this. Okay, back to the point. Jocelyn is locked in this literal dungeon and she is terrified, but she is also a survivor. Remember when she found that message on the wall, the one that said, Anna Devane was held captive here. I was taken on the 31st of October 2025. That was the spark. That was the moment Jocelyn realized she wasn't just a victim waiting to be rescued by Dex or Jason or Sunny. She had to save herself. And while she was moving her bed, she found them, the makeshift weapons, the shivs that Anna Devane had hidden away. Come on. Anna Devane saving the day even when she isn't in the room. That is legendary. So Jocelyn finds these sharp, rusty pieces of metal. She hides them, she waits, and then the door opens. In walks Cassius. He comes in to taunt her, to torture her, probably to make some vile threats like he always does. He thinks she's just this weak, spoiled, rich girl. He thinks she is going to cower in the corner and cry, but he completely underestimated who raised her. This is Carly's daughter. This is a girl who grew up with Jason as her protector and Sonny Corinthos as her stepfather. She has mob boss survival instincts running through her veins, whether she likes it or not. When Cassius steps into the room, Jocelyn doesn't hesitate. She doesn't scream for help. She transforms. I'm not kidding. It was like watching a completely different person. She became a literal warrior right before our eyes. She lunges at him with that sharp piece of metal. And because she's a medical student, she knows exactly where to strike. She doesn't just scratch him. She stabs him hard. She takes him down instantly. Cassius collapses. And the sheer look of shock on his fake Nathan face was almost satisfying if the situation wasn't so incredibly horrifying. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself because that wasn't even the craziest part of the episode. Cassius hits the ground and there is a massive struggle. He drops his gun. The noise echoes through the stone walls of the Windermere basement. And who happens to be upstairs? Jen Sidwell. Jen's freaking Sidwell. The man who has been terrorizing the entire canvas. The guy who is blackmailing Laura and Sunny. The guy who is forcing deception into a corner with his Zinzite shipments, the monster who is keeping Drew Kane paralyzed in a locked-in state, and the guy who ordered the hit on Marco Rios. Sidwell hears the commotion and comes running down the stairs. Jocelyn is standing there breathing heavily, holding a bloody piece of metal, looking at Cassius bleeding on the floor. And then Sidwell bursts into the room. He sees what happened, and he immediately pulls his gun on Jocelyn. This is the moment, guys. This is the moment I stopped breathing. Sidwell is about to pull the trigger. He's going to kill her. He has no reason to keep her alive anymore, especially now that she has attacked his man. In a split second of pure, unadulterated survival instinct, Jocelyn dives for the gun that Cassius dropped. She scoops it up from the cold stone floor, points it at Sidwell, and before he can fire his weapon, bang, she shoots him. Jocelyn Jacks just shot Jen Sidwell, and he doesn't just get wounded. He falls to the ground dead. She finished him off. I cannot believe they did that. I mean, I am sitting on my couch screaming at the television. Jen Sidwell is dead, and Jocelyn is the one who pulled the trigger. Let's just unpack the psychological weight of this for a second. Jocelyn is a medical student. Her entire life goal right now, her entire identity is wrapped up in saving lives. She wants to be a doctor. She wants to heal people. And tonight in the dark bowels of a Cassadine castle, she took a life. Yes, it was self-defense. Yes, Sidwell was going to kill her. But that doesn't change the fact that she looked a man in the eyes and pulled the trigger, ending his life. The aftermath of the shooting was incredibly hard to watch. You could see the adrenaline leave her body, replaced by pure visceral trauma. The realization of what she just did washes over her. She drops the gun. Her hands are covered in Cassius's blood. The room smells like gunpowder. She's a killer now, a killer in self-defense, but a killer nonetheless. And what does she do? She runs. She runs out of that cell, up the stairs, and bursts out of Windermere into the pitch-black night. The imagery of her running through the woods of Spoon Island, covered in blood, gasping for air, looking over her shoulder like a hunted animal. It was cinematic perfection. The director of this episode deserves an Emmy, seriously. Her mind is completely fractured. She is in shock. And the only thing she can think about, the only driving force keeping her legs moving, is her mother. She needs Carly. Am I the only one who's already crying thinking about the moment she finally reaches Carly? 'Cause you know Carly's going to absolutely lose her mind. I can already picture the scene. Carly is probably sitting at home, maybe having a drink with Valentin, completely unaware that her daughter is running for her life, covered in blood. When Jocelyn finally collapses in the Carly's arms, it is going to be the most heartbreaking, emotionally devastating scene of the year. Laura Wright and Eden McCoy are going to act the absolute house down. I'm already preparing my tissues, but let's look at the bigger picture here, because this changes the entire landscape of Port Charles. First of all, Jen Sidwell is dead. Good riddance, honestly. But what does this mean for everyone else? Tracy and Brooklyn were just sitting down with Rick Lansing to figure out a legal way to get Sidwell out of deception. Well, congratulations. Quartermain's Jocelyn just gave you the ultimate corporate exit strategy, a bullet. I shouldn't laugh, it's dark. But you have to admit the irony is hilarious. They were worried about audits and contracts, and Jocelyn just solved their business problem with extreme prejudice. And what about Drew Kane? Willow and Nina have been losing their minds over Sidwell and Ross Coulomb doozing Drew with that paralytic. With Sidwell dead, does Coulomb take over the whole operation? Or does this give Brennan and Nina the opening need completely dismantle the blackmail scheme? Sidwell was the head of the snake. Without him, his entire network might crumble. But the legal fallout for Jocelyn is what really terrifies me. We all know self-defense. We saw it with our own eyes. But will the PCPD see it that way? Detective Joe Fitzpatrick is super shady. We already suspect he might be on Sidwell's payroll. What if he tries to frame Jocelyn for murder? What if he claims she killed Sidwell in cold blood to escape? And what about Cassius? Is he dead? The notes say she took him down and stabbed him. But we didn't get a confirmed kill on him like we did with Sidwell. If Cassius survives, he's going to be out for blood. He will want revenge on Jocelyn for stabbing him. And if he dies, then Jocelyn has 2 bodies on her conscience. I know some fans are probably complaining right now. I can already see the Twitter threads. Oh, they are turning Jocelyn into a mobster just like Jason and Sunny. Why couldn't they let her just be a normal doctor? But honestly, I love this. I am so here for this dark, traumatized survivor version of Jocelyn. Remember when they tried to do the whole innocent girl corrupted by trauma storyline with other characters? Yeah, it didn't work then either because it always felt forced. But with Jocelyn, it feels earned. She has been kidnapped. She has been threatened. She lost Britt. She lost Spencer. She has been surrounded by violence her entire life. It was only a matter of time before the violence finally caught up to her and forced her to participate. You can't grow up in the House of Corinthos and not know how to handle a weapon when her life is on the line. Jason's influence is all over this scene. Even though Jason wasn't there, you could see his pragmatic, cold survival instinct in Jocelyn's eyes when she picked up that gun. She didn't hesitate. She didn't beg for her life. She neutralized the threat. Jason would be proud, even though he would hate that she had to do it. And Carly. Oh my God, Carly. When Carly finds out that Sidwell was holding her daughter and that Jocelyn had to kill him to survive, she's going to go on a warpath. If Colem or Fitzpatrick or anyone tries to put Jocelyn in a jail cell, Carly will burn the PCPD to the ground. She will call Diane Miller. She will call Sonny. She will call Jason, and she will form an impenetrable wall around her daughter. I am also really curious to see how Dex reacts to this. Dex has killed people. He knows the weight of taking a life. He knows how it changes you, how it keeps you up at night, how you see their faces when you close your eyes. Will this trauma push Jocelyn back toward Dex because he is the only one who understands the darkness, or will it push her further away because she hates what she has become? And we can't forget about the medical school aspect. Christina literally just got accepted to medical school, setting up her exit. Jocelyn is supposed to be on this noble path. How do you go into a hospital and try to save a patient on an Ezer operating table when your hands remember the feeling of ending a life? The PTSD is going to be astronomical. The writers have handed Eden McCoy the storyline of a lifetime, and I am so ready to watch her deliver. I'm sorry, I know I am rambling, but my mind is just racing in a million different directions. The image of Jocelyn running through the dark, her clothes stained with blood, the sheer panic in her eyes. It is going to haunt me. It was a complete loss of innocence. The girl who used to worry about college drama and volleyball is gone forever. She died in that Windermere basement, and a survivor was born in her place.